This is Tour de France 2022. We're here on Xbox Series X diving into this year's take on the legendary bicycling experience. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So what are we getting here? This is the optimized version. There's like a last gen version, there's an optimized version. So this is a specific version, just keep that in mind. So when you're looking at the store, make sure you're actually grabbing the one that's right for your particular platform. So this should be, I think, 60 FPS targeting, and resolution-wise, I really don't know. It looks quite jagged and everything like that, so it's probably maybe a little bit better than 1080p, but like it's still not too visually impressive. We definitely see jagged lines against the different individuals and the bikers and you know, the environment stuff. Lots of pop-in, tons and tons of pop-in. So it kind of makes you wonder just like how quote-unquote optimized it really is. But at the same time, when you look at... Wow, that car kind of just super sped around that corner. At the same time, when you look at the scale of this game in terms of like, hey, you know, it's like the full Tour de France, I think I'm supposed to be like drifting or drafting a little bit more than I am on this one instead of taking lead. I don't want to tire myself out. But, you know, it does kind of capture the whole thing. So you kind of look at it from the perspective of, hey, it's actually simulating the experience. So it maybe makes sense that not everything is like crazy great looking, and hopefully over time they continue to improve on that, but it does look very visually similar to my experience last year. So you can play this with 2 players in split screen if you'd like to. There's a tutorial to learn. There are options to kind of adjust how you want to play it. Do you want to just do certain legs of the big race? Do you want to do like the proper tour? You know, there's some other different modes too. It's got all 21 official stages. It's got 3 new teams. It's got new online mode, leaderboard stuff, not like online. The race incidents is kind of a big thing. You can turn those on or off if you want. Basically, people can get like injured in that. So it is like a bit of a change up, some would say, in regards to some of the gameplay mechanics. But yeah, there's so many different people competing here. I'm kind of like actually taking a bit of a lead, which probably isn't the best of ideas, because again, you're supposed to kind of go as a huddle group. There's a new preparation system. There's more aggressive peloton styles with more collaborative breakaway mechanics. New premiere of the Classic, which is inspired by a major Italian race. That kind of covers the big things. There's a new cobbled system, so there's difficulty in regards to some of the cobbled elements, which is interesting. But yeah, it's the tour, all right. You make the choices with your team. You got to keep yourself kind of going and healthy and everything like that. And it's a very, I guess you would say, big experience. Oh, sorry, I accidentally clicked that. Now it's got to save that content. Bunched peloton. And it's just kind of like, you know, it's a neat game if you just want to go for really long, almost casual. I mean, like, you could go really intensive about it depending on the player you are, right? It's like a simulation type thing. It's not like it's arcadey. But you just kind of go for like a really nice sort of bike ride, I guess you would say. A really long bike ride. It's technically very, very competitive and ruthless, but you know what I'm saying. You just go on a very, very long biking experience. So I think that kind of covers the stuff. 92 stages, so there's lots there. And we kind of went over all that information, and you just sort of tour like a pro. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say about this. You know, you go and you bike around. You know, you're on your cyclist bikes, and you're just kind of moving, taking in the scenery, competing with others, having fun, seeing lots of crops, seeing the different towns. It's all, like, you know, kind of created here. It's like, oh, is it like perfectly authentic? You know, it is to say, but it does really provide you with like vast areas. Like this is a huge, like we've got 180 kilometers to go there. You see in the top left, like this is a long, expansive thing, and it might not seem overly impressive. But I mean, it is technically kind of impressive. Like, I mean, there's different scenery bits, and you know, it doesn't go out too far in the distance, but most of the time you're just focused on your frontal bike thing, right? Which is interesting. Oh, crap. Yeah. Team comms. Just trying to pop that up there. Nope. Okay. And you are in teams, right? Like, it is a hard-working experience, but it's all about the thrill of the bike and the cycling. I don't know. It offers a lot of stuff. You just kind of go on a bike ride. A very, very long bike ride. So, I'd say there are some, like, nice adjustments and things, but it is just kind of an iterative, hey, here's the newest version of this game. I mean, if you want to, you get it year on year, you know, maybe you'll appreciate some of the improvements more than others will. If you're kind of looking at this for the first time, it's like, yeah, it's another Tour de France. I guess they would all be a little bit different just in terms of the context of the race for the different years, but you know, it is something where you just kind of get new expansions. Like it looks so rough. Like, sorry, it's just like it is fine for what it's trying to be, but it's, you know, like the players look kind of jagged around the edges. And you see a lot of jagged edges in places, lots of popping. It's just like, for a next gen version, I feel as though they need to push things a lot more from a tech standpoint. Because, yeah, I know there's a lot of cyclists, and that in itself is probably pretty demanding, being like, I'm not making enough effort? Aren't I, like, top of the tier or something like that? Are they talking about our other players? They're doing what they're doing. Okay. Ugh. Getting out of here. It's a long race. I don't need to be part of that intense group. But yeah, so sorry, I was totally distracted by it. Is this kid taking a picture with a phone? That's interesting. Almost hit me in the head with that. But yeah, you just kind of go off and you. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on there. You just experience the full scope of what this has to offer, going on and on, taking in the countryside. Like I could see for some people, like this would just be a really kind of majestic, I'm going for a ride on my bicycle kind of game, and that's totally cool to me. Like I don't, you know, that's neat. But I also don't really have more details to provide, so kind of enjoy the open country of, you know, this experience. Is it because I'm not drafting by anyone? But anyways, yeah, just enjoy more gameplay of the cycling as we go across the countryside.
The race is won as a team. If your rider doesn't have enough energy to break away early in the stage, don't hesitate to use Team Com to ask teammates to attack or to change the rider. Virtually, he takes the lead of the overall standings. The leader has got his team riding early to manage the time gap.
1 minute for the breakaway. It's looking good. He's a very good puncher who also rides very well on the flat. A good ruler with not too bad a punch. He should still try to get away before the finish because he's not so fast in a sprint. His best chance of victory is to try a breakaway from far out.
He's the best placed on the overall standings in the breakaway.
The time gap between the peloton and the breakaway is decreasing. The men at the front are approaching an important juncture because they'll soon be contesting the 3 King of the Mountains climbs of the day. Each one will contribute a point toward the polka dot jersey. That might sound anecdotal, but wearing the polka dot jersey in the first week of the Tour de France is an objective that is much sought after by the baroudeurs. The time gap with the head of the race is stable.
The first riders are 2 kilometers from the climb.
So here's the first classified climb of this Tour de France for the front of the race. A 900-metre ascent at 6%.
Here's the positions over the last climb. The gap is increasing. We don't need to ride for now. There's nobody dangerous for us in the breakaway.
Gut so! Haut rein! Da kommen sie! Haut rein! Weiter so, Jungs! Ihr schafft das! Haltet euch ran! Ihr schafft das! Haltet euch ran!
You must constantly try to shelter from the wind, so as not to consume energy. This is what allows a rider to edge clear at the end of the race.
Gut so! Haut rein, Leute! Weiter so, Jungs! Los, los! Macht Dampf, Jungs! Macht Dampf, Jungs! Gut so! Haut rein, Leute! Haltet euch so! Haut rein!
The breakaway is losing ground.
Macht Dampf, Jungs!
As for the previous classified climb, there will be 1 point to be gleaned for the first to the top.